We'll start in Israel, where defense forces there have released footage of what it said were overnight airstrikes on at least 14 terror sites, including concealed rocket launchers in Gaza. Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza, and 6 of its men were allegedly killed here, according to Palestinian authorities. It was the deadliest day of fighting in the current round of hostilities between Hamas and Israel. Hamas has since vowed revenge. The strikes were in retaliation for a recent spike in attacks from Gaza in recent weeks. Palestinian militants in that region have fired more than 200 rockets and mortars towards Israeli cities and towns, drawing dozens of Israeli airstrikes in return. In some of his strongest words ever, Pope Francis telling minors who were sexually abused by Catholic priests that the abuse was, quote, camouflaged with a complicity, and begged for their forgiveness. In a homily of the Mass with 6 victims of abuse, the Pope said that the Catholic Church, quote, must weep and make reparation for what it did to victims, and he begged forgiveness for what he said, quote, was a sacrilegious cult that profaned God. And over the weekend, Arizona Senator John McCain may have made a little mistake when he was talking about Hillary Clinton's comment that McCain was her favorite Republican. Here's the clip from CBS's Face the Nation.
I respect her views. We have had disagreements on a number of issues, but I think it's my job to work with every president.
Well, McCain went ahead and prematurely placed Hillary in the White House and said that the only way to fix issues like the VA is to, quote, reach across the aisle and work together. Of course, he quickly corrected himself with a big fat if. Now, dozens of sheriffs across the nation are saying that the Obama administration needs to start acting because they're going to stop holding illegal inmates, undocumented inmates who are accused or convicted of crimes in prison or jails for longer than they would normally be while the federal government holds off on deportation proceedings.
Today, I'm announcing that effective at midnight tonight, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office will no longer honor U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detainers.
And so there you have it. The pushback started when a judge ruled that an immigrant's civil rights were violated when she was held in a county jail at the request of federal agents. After the ruling, some sheriffs started refusing to hold certain people. That means that non-citizen offenders are back on the street as soon as their time served is over, instead of them being held in those facilities for longer for the Department of Homeland Security. Meantime, if you're planning to fly overseas, be prepared to turn on your cell phone or other electronic devices. Security screeners want you to prove that your electronics actually work and that they're not explosives. It's part of an update to security measures aimed at combating potential new threats from terrorists in the Middle East and Europe. And it's legal in Washington State now. It has its first retail marijuana license. Pot shop business owners will now be able to open up their doors for business starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The first 24 stores were notified earlier this morning to give them an extra few hours to get the cannabis on their shelves. Where is it coming from? The opening is expected to be accompanied by high prices and shortages.
So let's see, if we're scoring at home now, it's Colorado and Washington State, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb right now.
Uruguay, I think, or Paraguay, too.
Oh, well, yeah, but one of the, quote, 57 states. No,